Well, hello there, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jacqueline Marie and this is the Cranberry Trail Farmhouse. In today's video is a week in the life and we're going to travel from Boston, Massachusetts to Mallorca, Spain and spend a week there. We're renting a car to travel around the island. So let's go ahead and get started. We're getting an overnight flight from Logan Airport, stopping in Munich and then arriving the next afternoon in Mallorca. We rented a car at the airport and then we're going to drive to the Marriott Vacation Club where we have our timeshare. We have a 2-bedroom villa. I'm going to show you how the townhome looks. This is a 2-story townhome. The first floor has the kitchen, laundry room, living room, and dining room. This villa is very similar to the villa that we have stayed before in Estepona, Spain. But the villa in Estepona is all in one floor plan. I prefer the one floor plan. In the living room, there is a sliding door that leads you to a terrace and a small backyard. Now we're going to take a look at the bedrooms upstairs. This hallway leads you to a guest bathroom and a guest room and the master bedroom with the ensuite. Now that we all settled down in the villa, we're going to go for dinner at the hotel that is at the vacation club. And then we're going to call it the night to be ready for the next day. It is the next morning and it's a gorgeous morning. This is our very bright car that we got at the airport. And we're driving to town to look at all the attractions. We got to town and we're going to look for a parking to park the car and walk around the town. It is very easy to find parking. There is always parking underground. We are in Mallorca in late January. This is the off-season because during the peak season, that is the summertime, it's very crowded in the island. After having an ensaimada and hot chocolate for breakfast, we continue walking around the town. After strolling around town, we're going to take a tour of the Palma Cathedral and the Palacio de Almudaina. The Cathedral of Palma is one of Europe's tallest Gothic structures. There is about 61 stained glass windows in this cathedral. The most spectacular is the central rose window. In the early 20th century, the cathedral underwent some changes at the hands of the Catalan architect Antoni Gaudí. One of the most dramatic additions was the gigantic crown of thorns illuminated canopy that hangs over the altar. After completing the cathedral tour, we walk outside towards the Palacio de la Almudaina. As we enter the palace, there is a beautiful interior patio that views the towers of the Cathedral of Palma. Now that we completed the tours, we're going to go and get our car and drive to see another castle. The Bellver Castle is up in the mountain and it has a spectacular view of Palma de Mallorca. It is the next morning and we're going to drive to Sóller. Sóller is a small town. There is also a very scenic train that takes you to Sóller, but in the winter time it's not operational. We arrive in Sóller. Now we're going to look for parking and start walking around the town. This town is a popular destination for hikers and bikers. The plaza still has some Christmas decor. Unfortunately, the church is closed today. So now we're going to have a light lunch in one of the cafes across the church. We're eating at the Café Sóller. My husband had a delicious jamón serrano sandwich and I had a jamón york sandwich with salad and patatas fritas. And to complete the lunch, my husband had a delicious coffee. After lunch, we strolled around the small streets of the town and went shopping. The next 3 days, we continued driving around Mallorca on these beautiful scenic roads. We stopped at the little town of Estelens. In 2018, this town had a population of 318. After walking around this tiny town, we continue our road trip. We're on the way to the town of Valldemossa. Valldemossa is a beautiful village and a popular tourist attraction. After parking the car, we stop at this bakery to get a light snack. Valldemossa is also the birthplace of Catalina Thomas, which is Mallorca's patron saint. On the eve of the festival of San Antony, we drove to the town of Alaro, and they were preparing to have a big festivity on that evening. San Antony Abad is the patron of the animals and is mostly celebrated the night before the festivity. The caperrots are characters with the large heads. Many bonfires were set up on the streets. The people of the town gather around the fires to roast some meat, drink wine, and sing popular songs. The next morning was the festival of San Antony, and we drove to Alcudia to see the blessing of the animals by the priest of the town. A lot of people who had animals, including horses, chickens, turtles, birds, dogs, cats, etc., gather to get their animals blessed in front of the church. The next day, we drove to Porto Cristo to see Cuevas de Drac. There is a large underground lake called Lake Martel, and is regarded as one of the biggest underground lakes in the world. The following day, it was a rainy day, so we spent most of the time driving around towns and looking at the beautiful sceneries. On the last day in Mallorca, we drove to Cap de Pera, roamed around the little town, and then we went to the coast to look at the beautiful sea. On the last day, we left the Marriott Vacation Club and drove to the airport to return the car and take our plane to Munich and then Boston. Thank you so much for watching, and if you're a new visitor, I hope that you subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell so you will not miss any of the upcoming episodes. I'm Jacqueline Marie, and this is the Cranberry Trail Farmhouse. See you next time.